Hello, innovators. I'm Todd Weyandt, and welcome to the Bridging the Gap podcast presented by Great Tech Group. You're invited to join our conversation to model the future of construction innovation and the digital transformation adventure of this great industry. My guest today is Andrew Goodwin. He's the president of Professional Piping Systems, a Phoenix-based industrial piping company. With more than a decade of experience in the industry, Andrew has established himself as a leader through his strategic vision and dedication to operational excellence. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So I like to start with how you got into this industry and kind of what drew you into the prefab side of construction as well.
Yeah, of course. It's funny, going through college, high school, I never expected this is where my career would end up. I actually wanted to be a doctor at one point, a pilot at one point, then wanted to be in aerospace engineering. Kept changing. And then, so right out of college, I started working for Honeywell in their aerospace engineering program here in Phoenix, Arizona. After that, I had a neighbor who had a coatings business, like a technical coatings business. So they would do painting on everything from like missile parts or missile casings to submarine parts to torpedoes. It was really technical painting. And one of my customers at the time was a gentleman named Brian Grindell, and Brian Grindell owned Professional Piping Systems. He started it and in 2011, and him and I built a really good relationship. And it was just like, hey, I have these intricate ASME pressure vessels that we built and they need a technical coating on them. Can you help me out with that? Of course. So between that relationship, Brian and I got closer and closer. And then through that, he was like, hey, like, have you ever started or ever thought about starting your own coatings business? And I'm like, no, not really. And from there, he was like, hey, I think we should start a coatings business together. And he pretty much was like, hey, I'll be the money behind you. I will back you, but you have brains, you have the know-how about painting and coatings, and you could really add value to, the piping business because we do cement mortar linings, we do cement mortar coatings, we have fusion bonded epoxy coatings, zincs, normal polyurethanes, like everything that he needed done. So we started a business called PPS Coatings. I just kind of rolled with the PPS name because he was already there. And what happened was he was like, hey, we'll be 50-50 partners. I'm the investor, wallet guy. You run it. You have your expertise. So we started that business up and it was a separate entity. From there, I ran it for a couple of years. We grew it. Probably, at one point we had like 100 employees on that side. And then, there's a lot of intercompany back and forth transactions. And we're like, hey, I have 2 admin or front office girls. I have an accounting person. I have multiple QC people. And we realized like, hey, we have some redundancy that isn't needed here. So let's bring the companies back together under one umbrella, the Professional Piping Systems umbrella. And then we merged the 2 back together. And after kind of growing a little bit, few things have rolled to kind of shifted because now I'm no longer the president or owner of PPS and kind of grew into, hey, help me grow Professional Piping Systems just like you grew the coating side. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it evolved into. I became president of PPS. Brian is still technically CEO or chairman of the board, I guess you could call him. And that's where we're at today. So that's how I kind of got into the initial start of Professional Piping Systems. And it's been growing like wildfire over here. And we have such a great team. We're just going from there. So
yeah, that's cool. That's So I always am fascinated by how people come in and kind of where you think you're going to go, doctor, in your case, to ending up, owning your own piping company. I think it's super cool. The construction industry has lots of kind of gateways into it, which is it's fascinating.
It definitely does.
Yeah. So I want to talk about being kind of the boots on the ground leader and having that mentality in construction. How do you think that that's shaped kind of your perspective and how has that led to success?
So, a lot of the guys or even girls who work for us right now, they've all been craft workers in the field. And even our project managers, our estimators, our QC managers, we have grown tremendously through organic growth and promoting from within the company. Mm-hmm. Now, all those people that we've worked with prior, like I'm going to be showing up 5 a.m. just like everybody else. I'm going to be showing up early. I'm the guy who's going out to the job site as well and looking, seeing what is happening. I go out and meet with the same customers, the same project managers that my project managers or my estimators are working with. So they see me interacting. They see me on the emails. I'm not so far removed from the business, even though, yes, I am doing so many other things and focusing on other aspects of the business. I'm still in the contracting. I'm still sitting in those meetings with them and they say, hey, Andrew's involved. When we have our bi-weekly meetings with the project managers and estimators, it was kind of almost like a whole manager meeting. I know about all the jobs that are going on. They know that I know the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's going on with those jobs. And it's really because I'm here with them. I'm in the office with them. I'm making sure that, hey, if you guys need to talk about something, let me give you some advice of what I would do in this situation. Let me hear your problems, or let me hear the good on it, and let's all have the bads together and let's have the good together, and let's tackle this as a team. Go ask the guys that are next to you. And we really, really strive on everybody in the office. Let's collaborate together, and also take that out into the field. Take it into the job sites. Take it anywhere we can that my guys know that they can rely on everybody else here. So it's really been one of our, because you say core values, or one of our missions is to show that no matter who you are in the business, you're still involved with it. Roll up your sleeves, get the job done, because at the end of the day, we just have to provide a service or product to the customer, and they don't care about any of our problems. They just need their job done. And that means I'm getting the job done or somebody else is getting the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that mentality that we're all in this together. So let's link arms, roll up our sleeves, and figure it out and get it done. You have that transparency that anybody can come in on the the corporate speak of the open door policy and whatnot. You guys seem to be living that out really well.
Yeah, we have been, and that's one of the reasons why we've grown, right? Like even Brian Grindell, like I said, the founder of PPS, he was on the job sites. Like he was rolling up in his truck late at night working. I mean, he was a welder at one point, like welding on jobs. He has really instilled that into everybody here, and he's been such a big mentor and such a big help for me growing this business. And when he trusted me and put me in charge of the business, he was like, hey, I'm still going to be there, and I'm still going to help you out, and kind of do what I've done, how I've built this culture of everybody works, everybody puts in the effort, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think are some of the most common misconceptions that people have about prefab when they're not on the ground every day?
I think they think, okay, prefab is going to all fit up. You get a set of drawings, engineer designs this, and everything's going to work. Everything's going to fit. Yeah. And it's like, yes, conceptually, everything works. But then you have to look at, hey, is this going to pull? Is this heat going to cause distortion? What is the temperature outside? What is the environment? And how is this going to affect when maybe this little thing or this trade has this going on, that it's going to affect us in the long run? So I think the biggest misconception is everything's going to be perfect. That is not construction. And we have to constantly explain to our customers, like, it's not going to be perfect. We're going to show up and it's going to be as close as it possibly can be, but we're going to be the guys who are going to get it done. And that's kind of how PPS has built our name. Like, we've built our name off of fixing problems, fixing either other subcontractors' problems or trade partners' problems. We've been the guys who show up and know how to get it done. But one of the biggest misconceptions is it's going to be perfect, right? And things change. When I mean things change, no matter what it is, something that's off a little bit can make a huge, let's call it effect, right? Almost like the butterfly effect. But that happens in construction. That happens in prefab all the time. So it won't be perfect, but we'll get it done. And I think that's not even just us. That's everybody, I hope. But not everybody has a mentality that they're going to get it done.
Yeah. So you mean prefab isn't the silver bullet, easy button for construction?
It definitely isn't. But I mean, it helps. I mean, don't get me wrong. It helps building things modular, having the prefabrication, but it's not perfect, right? But we're going to get it done no matter what. But there's going to be some tweaking along the way.
Sure. That's part of the fun of construction. You got
it is part of the fun.
Figure out how to get it done. So given that, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned on the job site that have kind of influenced how you operate at PPS?
The people. I know we're going to talk about that, and its biggest lesson is take care of the people. Give them what they need, what they deserve, and you will be successful. If you're not taking care of your employees, your people, why do they want to be here? Why do they want to work? I mean, yes, we all have to provide for our families, but at the end of the day, there's other companies who could probably help and give you the means to provide to your family. And we want to provide a place that people want to show up every day. They want to smile when they come here. And I mean, hey, it's not easy work. Welding, plumbing, HVAC, fabrication, it's not easy work. So, I mean, especially in Arizona in the summers, it's hot. Like, how do we explain, or how do we get people to want to come back to work every day? And we need to find what makes people happy, what makes them tick, because salary or pay or benefits, at the end of the day, maybe that doesn't make them happy. Yes, it's a big part of it, but what are the other factors outside that are driving you to show up to work every day? Is it that you need flexible hours because your wife or your husband go to work at a certain time, or they have specific needs? Well, let us figure out a way to make a position for you so you continuously could have those extra needs that you need met. Is it that you need time to go see your family that live in Arkansas, or I mean, this is like your cat needs surgery, like things I've heard that's like, let me help you to be, so you could come to work, you could focus on it, and you're happy to be here. So if there's outside noises or outside issues, what can we do to help you do that, or to be better? If it's providing therapy, is it providing whatever it is? I mean, we've gone above and beyond to help our employees, and they've gone above and beyond to help us to build this business. So why would we not go back to them and give them what they need when it's outside of the norms of the industry?
Yeah. I love that, because the easy temptation in business is they're just an employee. It's like a widget almost that you're interchanging, and that is so not the reality. Obviously, we come in as, this sounds very elementary, but we come in as people, and so we have stuff that goes on outside of work, and you got to take that into the equation. That's
exactly, we all
makes
have
the whole
our
employee
baggage.
right.
Yeah. I mean, no matter who you are, we all have our issues and we have our baggage. But if you bring them to us, or say, hey, I'm not going to be focused this week, or I'm going to be a little bit checked out because of this, I'm not going to get mad at you. Nobody here's going to get mad at you. We're going to figure out a way. Let's work with you. Let's help you. And it all comes down to the people, because the experience that they bring to us, if they're with us year over year, the jobs that they've seen, the ups and downs, like, hey, I know how to fix that. Like the leadership and growth to the individuals under them, it's all with tenured employees, the people who are continuously coming back. And when those people do have a bad day, they have the guy next to them or the girl next to them saying, hey, but look at what PPS has done for you. Look at the great things that we are doing day in, day out. And are you going to get that somewhere else? Is the grass greener? I don't know, but we do try to take care of our employees the best we can.
So I want to ask about something that I've heard that is pretty remarkable about PPS, and that's that you guys have never had any kind of layoffs, which is almost unheard of in construction. How have you built that and maintained that kind of stability?
Yeah, we do that in the sense of, like, I mean, Brian, myself, like, it's like figure out a way to keep the guys busy, keep the employees busy. I mean, if that means I have 20 field guys at our facility in the yard cleaning, doing random things, like, hey, we don't really need racks on that wall, but maybe one day we do. Go build some racks, or go figure out what needs to get done. Go through, rip all the trucks apart. Let's reconfigure them. Let's find some efficiencies. We keep our guys busy because, like I just said, the fear of having, everybody goes through cyclical ups and downs, big jobs, or hey, we got this job that got pushed. The fear of knowing or not knowing if you're going to have a job because big jobs get pushed or the construction industry is changing. We'll continue to keep our guys working. I mean, they're not going to be working overtime, but we're going to keep them at 40 hours because you're going to be bouncing around. I don't want you to have that thought that you don't know if you're going to have work next week. So we find tasks, and I mean, there's been some times where it's like, hey, like, what are we doing for the business right now? Like, we have some big jobs that got pushed, and we have a lot of guys who are just kind of doing random tasks. And it's like, but this is what PPS is. Like, we built ourselves as a family, and let's continue going. So that is something that we've done, knock on wood, and we're going to continue doing and pushing that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was there a specific moment or decision that kind of tested that no layoff philosophy, and how'd the team kind of come together to navigate it?
I think it really started with Brian Grindell being like, hey, I've seen what happens when, you do some layoffs and what it does to the culture, right? Like I said, it completely changes your mindset of, am I next? Do I want to start looking for another job? Why, did my buddy just get laid off when maybe he's just as good as me, but he's only been here for 2 months, right? Or it changes the complete mindset of the company, and we cannot get our jobs done, and we cannot build for the future of Arizona or the other states that we're working in if we don't have the right employees. And at the end of the day, like I said before, it's all about employees. So take care of them, and things will continue. Business will be successful. So I don't think it was like one exact reason or one big thing. It was more so the consequence if we do start laying people off.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned that you guys have grown a lot since 2020, which is remarkable. And there's been a lot of ups and downs over the last 5 years, lots of curveballs thrown at the construction industry, no doubt. How have you scaled while also protecting the culture and kind of keeping that fabric intact?
So, I mean, our scaling, like, it's been through, like I said before, organic growth. Talking to our employees, okay, what do we need to do to keep you, like, how do we keep promoting you up? Like, we have to grow. Like, if we're not growing or we're not moving our employees up, or, don't get me wrong, there's some employees who want to stay in their position, they're happy there, but then the other ones, if I can keep pushing to go get work, so then I could take a welder who moved to a foreman who's now a superintendent and make him an assistant project manager, or train him to be a project engineer that can move into those. If we're not finding the work to grow our workforce and to show leadership, hey, you have everybody, no matter where you're at in this company, you have the ability to make it to a project manager, to a director, to a VP. You have that ability. But that only comes with us growing the business, growing the top line, growing the bottom line. So it was pretty much, we have to keep these employees, and to keep them is through growth. And I mean, we're in a very fortunate spot, right? Like, one of our big focuses is wastewater, waterworks, power, and that's a critical infrastructure. People need water, people need power, people need to have wastewater removed out of their cities and clean. And that's one of the areas that we work in. So we're pretty fortunate in the city and state we live in, and the amount of growth that Phoenix has seen, the amount of growth that other cities have seen that we go and work in. It's all been part of, hey, as these cities grow, we're going to grow because we're going to be the guys doing that work. And guess what? Go find your friends, go talk to people graduating welding school, people graduating college, people graduating high school, no matter where we're finding people. And it's been a really big word to mouth. Come to PPS, we'll teach you the ways, we'll grow. One of the things that, going back to you're saying, how do we keep the culture during this growth? We have always hired on. It's funny, it's been a saying to us. I remember our superintendent, or general superintendent Ruben, always been like, hey man, that guy's a BAMF, that guy's a BAMF, that girl's a BAMF, we're going to hire them. And it always kind of stuck with us that, like, we're going to hire, BAMFs, badass MFers. And that's what we built our culture on. And our core values are actually BAMF. So that's what we look for in people, that if you're not a badass MFer, you're not going to be part of the PPS team. And we hire and we fire by that. So,
yeah, I like that. It's a fun little acronym there,
yeah,
and kind
really
of
is.
way to look at it. I think that's great. Yeah. So you mentioned about kind of going out to schools and trying to get people in. I just saw a stat the other day that it's not new, but I saw it and it stuck back in my mind again, that within 5 years, 41% of the construction industry will be retired. And the corollary stat was that only 3% of young people are even considering a job in construction. So the gap there in the skilled labor is just getting worse and worse and worse, and no seeming tide is turning there.
Oh.
Are you guys kind of navigating that?
It's funny you say that. I was speaking with my director of operations, and even outside of construction, he was like, or maybe it wasn't construction, I can't remember the exact stat he was saying too. He was like, for every 2 people leaving the workforce, we're barely getting, like you said, it was like 0.25. So like the ratio is not there. Excuse me. One of the things that we're trying to do, and how we're going to schools, we're going to places, and listen, plumbing, HVAC, welding, fabrication, it's not sexy, right? Like, not everybody's going to be like, hey, like, I want to go be that person. Like, yeah, that's a career I want to go and tell my friends I'm a plumber. I tell my friends I'm a welder. Nobody wants to do that. It's not a sexy business. And so what we have to do is we have to be able to show people, no, it is a sexy business. Look how lucrative it is, or look how you could provide for your family. You could go and you could get out of high school and have no debt and start making 6 figures in one of these positions. Not only that, and then going into the colleges and trying to find engineers, trying to find people who want to come into this industry. It's like, this area is growing. Jobs are always going to be here. Even if it's not growing, there's maintenance. You have to continuously maintain all of these systems, all the structural. I mean, there's corrosion, things break. So we have to sell that it is sexy. And guess what? It is a fun place to work. Do you want to go wear a suit and tie to work every day? Nothing against that. Or do you want to, throw a flat bill hat on and wear a t-shirt and jeans to work every day, but you're making just as much as the people who are wearing suits and ties, who we have a culture where we let you bring your dog to the office, let you bring your kids if you need to, are in a completely new, it's a new realm of construction, I would say. It's not the old construction was like, get in, get out, it's grungy. It's a new era, and that's what we have to sell to people, that construction can be sexy, and that's what we're going for.
Yeah. How do you think we go about getting that message out there better?
I think how we're going to go about getting that message out there, I mean, what we're doing, we are going to schools, we're going to welding schools, we're going to colleges, we're going to conferences, and then we're blasting stuff all over LinkedIn, and it's just having new faces. And when I say new faces, we need to have younger kids who are maybe on TikTok, maybe on Instagram, and talk about it. And that's one of the things that we are doing. I mean, I have welders on site TikToking their videos or showing, hey, look at this, like, what are we doing here? Show the reality of it and showing what they also do outside of work. So these are normal people. These are people who live lives just like you and I, and they're having fun outside of work because it's a job that you could build a career off of. And using that marketing of the new, let's call it social media, that's one of the things that we've been pushing. And I feel like the industry is starting to do a better job at that.
Yeah. Music to my ears. I think there's a huge marketing problem in construction that we do a very bad job as an industry saying how cool the industry is and what the tech and the innovation is. That it's not I think the stereotype is that construction's hasn't evolved in 50 years and it's backwards and just you go and it's a kind of dead end. And that's so not the case, but
no, not at all.
Nobody tells that story.
People, or when I say people, I think there's a misconception that construction is swinging a hammer.
Right.
And there are people who are swinging hammers, and there are people who also have degrees in robotics who are working in construction. We have a full robot at our shop right now that's helping weld pipe. That is, we could have fit up on one, it's welded on another. I mean, there's some cool innovation coming in our industry, and there's so much new technology that we need smart people. We need people who are interested in that. And it's like, hey, don't get me wrong. You can go get into robotics, or you can get into chemistry, or you can get into biology. Like, let's talk about different types of metals. How do metals interact together? What type of strengths? Let's talk about engineering. Like, there's so much when it comes to STEM. There's so much outside of just swinging a hammer when it comes to construction that we need to be able to show the younger workforce that it is sexy. It is fun.
Love it. I could pound that dead horse for a long time. So I won't. One of the other things that I think is really cool about PPS is that your team runs a 24/7 operation. How did that model come about, and what's it meant for your relationships with the clients, your employees, and the job sites?
Yes. PPS, one of the things that initially was founded on was 24-hour mobile welding. So we had our trucks set up and rigs set up that the large diameter transmission line busts in the middle of an intersection. We will be the guys that will show up there and weld it and get it back up and operational. If a valve goes down or wastewater line or power goes down, there has to be a 24-hour response team. And there wasn't a lot of that in the town here. I mean, it would be like, hey, we can get a welder out there tomorrow. And it's like, well, people need water. People need to have power in Arizona. So we have a team that's always on call. We have a team that is ready to go. Our guys bring their rig trucks home. So, I mean, some companies run it where you go pick up your truck in the yard, but we pay for extra fuel. We pay for the trucks going to the house. We want the guys to be ready to go at any given time. And because nobody else could wait, our customers don't care if, I had this excuse, I had this excuse. They want to know that they could get the job done, because every minute a machine's down or every minute a pipe is bursting or spewing water into an intersection is causing issues for families, it's causing issues for businesses. And we could be the guys who go, like I said, we built our business off of solving problems and being the people who could fix things, in which it's molded into much more after that. But yeah, we we've built the business off of being the guys that could call and get it done at any hour of the day.
Yeah, I think that's cool. How do you keep the teams energized, engaged, and then aligned when the work literally never stops?
So we do when I say we, our general superintendents, Ruben he's been with us, for 10, 12 years now, probably since the early foundation of the business. And Junior, who works right under him, they are our go-to guys. They know the ins and outs of all the employees, what they're good at, what is their specialty, and they're really good at rotating guys. Like, hey, you're on call this weekend, you're on call today, you have family things coming up, let's just keep you going around. And we do things, and when I mean things, like, hey, you work those 2, 3, 4 shifts back to back and you busted your ass to get things done. Well, let's go send your family on a staycation this weekend. Like, what can we do to help you recover? Hey, like, we know guys put in extra hours, and not only does it make our company look good, it makes the customer happy, but at the end of it, it's the guy who's doing the work who is staying up and getting the job done. So we need to be able to reward them, not only financially with, good pay, but like I said, going back to what makes you happy. And hey, do you have a side-by-side or a razor and you want a light bar for it? Like, hey man, we understand you've done all these extra things and go above and beyond, and the customer is ecstatic. What can we do to help you out? So we definitely recognize that guys need to be rewarded in that sense, and recognize that you're working weekends, you're working late hours, and your family's suffering. But what can we do outside of that so you could grasp that time back and know that when we ask you to go do a job that's going to go into the late hours of the night, early morning, or the weekends, that we're here to help you out on the other end.
Yeah, I love that. So looking ahead over let's say 5 years, what does success look like for PPS as the company, and then kind of for you personally as a leader in this space?
So success means that we have we have all the same workforce that we have here, and we are growing individuals. So that would mean I know that a project engineer who's here, or maybe a foreman or a superintendent, has moved up in a position to where they want to build a career of, I want to be a project manager, I want to be a quality control manager, I want to be starting to figure out how to be a shop manager or maybe a job lead. Success is knowing that we're hiring people and they're moving up in the company. Because if they're moving up in the company, that means that PPS is growing. We are expanding into different states. We're going into new markets. That is what success looks like for me looking at the company. Now, looking at it from the president's point of view, or from my point of view, of we're also doing something that contributes to the retirement, or the after you're done with your career, what do you have to show for it? So whether that's PPS developing some type of stock incentive plan within the company, or maybe one day going an ESOP, or maybe figuring out a way that we could offer some type of incentive that goes to our employees within the next couple of years. So every year that they work here, whether it's deferred compensation, that they are getting something. So they work a career for PPS, they have something great to show for it, not just their 401k.
Love that. So as we start to land the plane here, a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Definitely. First, what is the phrase modeling the future? What does that mean and look like to you?
Modeling the future means, hey, what is actually coming out of the future? What is going to be, let's look at political stances. Where is the country going to be politically? Where are we going to be technology? What are going to be some permitting or maybe some restrictions that we have to start following? So how do we start setting ourselves up so we can continuously grow, but we're also adapting to the ever-changing environment of our, let's call it, economic and policy factors, right? So that is modeling the future, and how do we continuously adapt and overcome anything that's thrown our way. So that is just always looking at the future and what can we start investing in now.
That's a big one. There's lots of curveballs, like I said already.
Yeah,
the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about innovation? What does innovation mean to you?
Innovation is, once again, pushing into technology. Like I said, we have a robot. It's called a Nova Arc at our facility. That is a robotic pipe welder. Looking at what is coming out and what can we try. Even Like we're at the forefront of it. Or how do we get our employees to start putting preemptive maintenance schedules in, or having sensors so that we can say, hey, you guys could be on a preemptive maintenance schedule that now shows when things are wearing out or we need to come in and change something. So that's like having people or even ourselves look at, don't be afraid of technology. Use it because it's going to save us money, it's going to save us time, and we're also going to be able to push product out faster, and things maybe going to be built better, or they're going to, our slogan is built to perform. And technology will help that. It will help drive the innovation. It will help drive new standards that maybe we don't even know about that are coming down the pipeline. And what can we do to look at helping our cities and helping private companies set up for, there's going to be a lot of rehab and a lot of failures or a lot of end of life cycles for technology that's already here. And how can we be at the forefront of helping push new stuff?
Yeah, for sure. How do people find out more information and connect with you?
LinkedIn, going to our website, ppsphx.com. I'm involved in a lot of charities in town. I am out and about. People who know me probably say I'm a social butterfly. I love talking to people and I love interacting and talking about our business. So yeah, probably email or LinkedIn, or go on our website. Be pretty easy to get a hold of, and the company always has somebody there to respond to as well.
Awesome. Well, final question for you, Andrew. If I could give you all construction power, you could snap your fingers and innovate one thing, what would you pick to innovate?
A quality, easy button. So it would be pretty much, I know that quality is going to be perfect. As soon as I strap this machine on, or it goes through some type of scanner that I can send any of my pipes through, and I know that the quality is perfect. It matches the drawings. The welds are perfect. There's no pinholes. There's no flaws. It passes x-ray. So something that I could send items through, and I know that the quality is there and it's met. We have quality control managers, like I said, but there's still a human factor there, and mistakes are still made and things still leave the shop if it's not perfect. But that would be amazing if I could figure something out in that sense.
Yeah, I love that callback from the beginning of the episode too, talking about that easy button. So yeah, snap our fingers and make prefab actually that button. Very cool. Andrew, thanks so much for taking the time. This was great.
I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me today. Join the construction industry. If there's anything I could say, it's a sexy business.
I like it. This is a great way to end it. Thanks.
Thank you.
And now it's time for my Todd takes from this episode. First take. Transparency and collaboration are non-negotiable for a healthy culture. Sustaining a strong, resilient team starts with radical transparency and deep collaboration. When leaders stay engaged on the job site and in the trenches, openly sharing both the wins and challenges, it fosters trust and accountability across the organization. That kind of alignment not only improves project execution, it builds a workplace where everyone feels seen and heard. Second take, see the whole person, not just the job title. A thriving workforce isn't built by treating employees like interchangeable parts. It's built by supporting people holistically, recognizing their personal struggles, ambitions, and needs. From offering flexible hours to supporting mental health or family challenges, the approach is clear. When people feel genuinely cared for, they show up with purpose and loyalty. And final point, construction has a marketing problem, and it's time to fix it. There's a major disconnect between the reality of today's construction industry and how it's perceived. While the industry is packed with innovation, robotics, and exciting career paths, too few young people are hearing that story. So the solution? Bold storytelling through social media, direct outreach in schools, and creating visible, authentic ambassadors who show that construction can be a smart, lucrative, and even a sexy career choice.